You might wonder if old-school fighter jets still have a place in modern warfare. But make no mistake, fifth-generation fighters like China's J-20 and America's F-22 remain the kings of the air, especially when it comes to owning the skies in a high-stakes showdown between superpowers. These aren't just planes, they're flying fortresses designed to sneak in, strike hard, and vanish before the enemy even knows what hit them. The global quest for aerial dominance has heated up again, echoing the Cold War arms race, but with a twist. Now it's about who can build the stealthiest, smartest machines to control vast oceans and contested borders. So when China's J-20 goes head-to-head against the American F-22, who wins? The F-22. Raptor first took to the skies in operational form back in 2005 as America's answer to outpacing Soviet-era threats like the MiG-29 and Su-27. It was built to dominate from the shadows, a predator that could hunt undetected. Fast forward to 2017, and China unveils the J-20 Mighty Dragon, entering service as a direct counter to U.S. naval power in the Pacific. This timeline tells a story of priorities. The U.S. pioneered stealth tech but capped production early due to budget cuts and shifting threats, while China, playing catch-up, has ramped up manufacturing like a factory on steroids. As of late 2025, the U.S. has about 187 F-22s total, with roughly 130 ready for combat, plus plans to upgrade older training models to boost that number by around 32 more. Meanwhile, China has surged past 300 J-20s produced, with estimates suggesting over 500 by next year and potentially 1,000 by 2030. It's a race where technology meets strategy, and the edge could tip the balance in a world where cyber hacks and satellite jammers are as deadly as missiles. But who really holds the advantage today? The F-22 story starts in the dying days of the Cold War, born from the Advanced Tactical Fighter program in the 1980s. The U.S. Air Force wanted a jet that could slice through enemy defenses like a hot knife through butter, outmaneuvering and outgunning anything the Soviets threw up. Lockheed Martin won the contract in 1991, beating out Northrop's YF-23, and the result was a plane optimized for air-to-air kills. Think of it as a sniper rifle with wings. It was designed to detect, engage, and destroy threats before they even spotted it, relying on supercruise, flying supersonic without afterburners and all-aspect stealth to stay invisible. Production kicked off in the late 90s, but post-9/11 priorities shifted toward ground wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, leading to budget slashes. By 2011, the line shut down after just 195 jets, including test models, leaving the fleet at 187 operational ones today. It's a classic case of building the ultimate weapon but not enough of them, as costs balloon to around $350 million per plane in today's dollars. On the flip side, China's J-20, codenamed Project 718, emerged in the early 2000s as Beijing eyed America's carrier fleets prowling the Pacific. It wasn't about reinventing the wheel, but leapfrogging with lessons from hacked U.S. designs and Russian tech. The Mighty Dragon focuses on anti-access area denial, meaning it's built to keep U.S. forces at bay by targeting big, vulnerable assets like aircraft carriers, refuelers, and AWACS planes from afar. China learned from the F-22's playbook, but adapted it for their needs. Longer range for vast Pacific ops, integrated with drones and networks from the get-go. Production has exploded, from prototypes in 2011 to over 300 by October 2025, with annual output hitting 100 to 120 jets thanks to multiple assembly lines at Chengdu Aerospace. This ramp-up reflects China's philosophy: mass-produce good enough tech quickly to overwhelm opponents, rather than perfect a few elite machines. While the F-22 was a solo star, the J-20 is part of a system of systems, linking with ground radars and satellites for collective punch. China's fleet now includes variants like the two-seat J-20S for drone control, showing evolution in real time. The U.S. bet on quality over quantity, but China's catching up fast, turning the skies into a numbers game. Stealth is the name of the game for these fighters. It's what lets them slip past radars like ghosts in the night. The F-22 sets the gold standard with its very low observable VLO design, meaning it's shaped to bounce radar waves away from the source. From the front, its radar cross-section is estimated at a tiny 0.0001 to 0.0005 square meters. about the size of a marble or even a bumblebee. That's thanks to smooth, angled surfaces, internal weapon bays, and special coatings that absorb radar energy. But stealth isn't perfect. From the sides or rear, it might jump to 0.01 square meters due to things like engine nozzles. The J-20 tries to match this with a similar chined fuselage and diverterless supersonic inlets that hide engine fans from prying radars. However, critics point to its canards, those small forward wings for better maneuverability, as potential RCS spoilers, creating reflections that could give it away. Open source estimates peg the J-20's frontal RCS at 0.01 to 0.1 square meters, roughly the size of a golf ball, making it stealthier than older jets, but not quite on the F-22's level. Some analyses suggest an average of 0.027 square meters with titanium edges and ram coatings. Side and rear aspects are weaker, especially with ventral fins that might scatter waves oddly. China has iterated. The J-20A variant boasts improved radar-absorbent materials and tweaks to reduce those hotspots. During training, both use Lüneburg lenses. The lenses are devices that amplify RCS to avoid revealing true stealth. But in combat, the F-22's mature tech gives it an edge in all-around invisibility. Recent simulations show the J-20's canards could increase RCS in certain angles, but China countered with better coatings. Still, in a head-on clash, the F-22 might spot the J-20 first, thanks to lower RCS across more frequencies. But stealth evolves. China's closing the gap with gallium nitride tech in radars that could pierce U.S. coatings. Ultimately, the F-22's 20-year head start in stealth refinement means it's harder to detect in contested airspace, but the J-20's improvements make it a credible threat, especially in packs. When it comes to raw performance and how these jets move through the air, the F-22 shines like a sports car on steroids. Its twin Pratt & Whitney F119 engines let it supercruise, hitting over Mach 1.5 without guzzling fuel on afterburners, which means it can dash in, strike, and escape without lighting up like a Christmas tree on infrared sensors. This gives it killer acceleration, climb rates, and turn performance, with a combat ceiling around 65,000 feet where the air is thin and enemies struggle. Energy maneuverability diagrams show the Raptor out-turning most foes in a dogfight, thrusting vector nozzles, adding that extra twist for impossible angles. The J-20 started rough. Early models used Russian AL-31F or Chinese WS-10C engines, which couldn't sustain supercruise meaningfully, topping out at Mach 2 but sipping fuel inefficiently. But by 2025, the WS-15 engine changes everything. It's now operational on J-20A variants, delivering supercruise up to Mach 1.6 to 1.8 with better thrust-to-weight ratios. This upgrade boosts acceleration and ceiling to about 60,000 feet, closing the gap in sustained speed. Still, the F-22's nozzle vector thrust for superior agility in close-quarters brawls, while the J-20's larger frame, being longer and heavier, favors high-speed intercepts over twisty turns. In a merge, aviation speak for when jets get up close. The Raptor's kinematics give it the nod, but the mighty Dragon's range lets it loiter longer, waiting for the perfect shot. With WS-15 fleets expanding, China's jet is no slouch, potentially outpacing older F-22s in straight-line dashes. Yet, upgrades to the F-22's engines and software keep it nimble, ensuring it doesn't get left in the dust. Avionics, the plane's brains, are where these fighters turn data into dominance. The F-22's AN/APG-77V-1AESA radar is a beast, scanning vast swaths of sky with electronic beams that jam enemies while spotting threats at over 200 miles. But its sensor fusion is the true prize, blending radar, infrared, and electronic warfare into one seamless picture, and has a 20-year edge, though upgrades have lagged behind schedule. Block 20/30/40 modernizations are fixing that, adding better processing for real-time threat ID. The AN/ALR-94 electronic warfare suite passively detects emitters, turning the Raptor into a silent hunter. Infrared search and track via distributed aperture systems spots heat signatures without giving away position. The J-20 counters with its Type 1475 AESA, upgraded to nitrogen-cooled gallium nitride modules by 2023 for longer range and jam resistance. Potentially 200 to 220 transmit/receive modules more than early versions, estimating 2,000 to 2,200 total. Its EOTS-89 electro-optical targeting system, like the F-35's, fuses IRST and FLIR for ground and air scans. China's rapid catch-up means the J-20's fusion is maturing fast, integrating data from off-board sources like drones. Rumored EW pods enhance jamming, but the F-22's internal suite is more seamless. In 2025, the J-20's two-seater adds a backseater for managing complex data, boosting fusion in networked flights. While the US has the maturity advantage, China's iterative upgrades like voice commands and AI assists narrow the gap, making avionics a toss-up in group battles. Armament turns these stealthy scouts into killers. The F-22's internal bays hold 6 AIM-120D AMRAAMs and 2 AIM-9X sidewinders, keeping stealth intact by hiding missiles inside. The AIM-120D reaches 100+ miles, but the upcoming AIM-260 JATM, still in development as of 2025 with production funding sought for 2026, promises 200-kilometer ranges to counter Chinese threats. Combat radius is about 750 nautical miles on internal fuel, extendable with tanks but at stealth's cost. The J-20 packs 6 PL-15s at 200 to 300 kilometer range and 2 PL-10s, or 4 PL-15s plus folded fin PL-21s, boasting 400+ kilometer ramjet power, game changers for sniping high-value targets. Its larger frame gives a 1,100 nautical mile radius, ideal for Pacific patrols. By 2025, PL-15 exports and PL-21 tests show China's missile edge in beyond visual range fights. While the F-22's weapons are proven, the J-20's longer sticks could flip scripts in standoffs. Situational awareness is about seeing the big picture. The F-22's intra-flight data link shares data stealthily, but legacy limits like no full Link 16 transmit until recent upgrades hinder broader nets. The J-20 is born networked and links with KJ-500 AWACS satellites and loyal wingman drones like the GJ-11, creating kill webs for BVR dominance. This swarm approach amplifies awareness in contested zones. Cockpits are the pilot's office. The F-22's 1990s setup is getting modernized in 2025 with better displays. The J-20's holographic HUD and helmet-mounted sights, plus rumored voice controls, feel futuristic. Keeping these advanced fighters flying is no small feat, and it's where the real-world differences between the F-22 and J-20 start to bite. The F-22 Raptor, America's pinnacle of stealth tech, has long struggled with reliability issues that keep it grounded more often than not. As of 2024, its mission-capable rate, or the percentage of jets ready to fly a mission at any given time, hovered at a dismal 40.19%. That's a massive drop that's alarmed Air Force leaders. This means out of the roughly 187 operational F-22s, only about 75 might be combat-ready on a good day. Why? High-maintenance stealth coatings degrade quickly, requiring painstaking repairs, and aging parts drive up sustainment costs. A recent GAO report highlights how contractor support alone has pushed maintenance expenses skyward, with the Air Force awarding a $1.5 billion deal in early 2025 just to keep the F-119 engines humming for over 400 units. Overall, sustainment overruns have ballooned the lifetime cost per jet to around $350 to $400 million, making it a budget black hole, far beyond the original estimates and contributing to the program's early shutdown in 2011. These woes stem from the F-22's cutting-edge design, which prioritizes performance over ease of upkeep, leading to low availability rates of 50 to 60% historically. In contrast, China's J-20 Mighty Dragon benefits from a more pragmatic approach, emphasizing scalability and lower costs to build a larger fleet quickly. Estimated at $100 to $130 million per unit, about a third of the F-22's price. The J-20's design incorporates simpler maintenance philosophies, like domestic WS-15 engines that reduce reliance on foreign parts and cut long-term expenses. By late 2025, production has ramped up to around 120 jets per year, pushing the total fleet past 300, with reports of at least 50 new deliveries since mid-2024. While exact reliability data is scarce due to Chinese secrecy, the rapid rollout suggests higher mission-capable rates, unhampered by the F-22's exotic material headaches. This cost-effectiveness allows China to flood the skies with numbers, potentially overwhelming U.S. forces in a prolonged conflict, even if individual J-20s aren't as refined. In essence, the F-22's edge in tech comes at a steep operational price, while the J-20's affordability fuels quantity over exquisite quality, shifting the balance in sustainment wars. Simulations reveal a nuanced edge for the F-35 in most scenarios, but the J-20's numbers and missiles pose growing risks. In a close-quarters dogfight, say, a surprise merge over the East China Sea, the J-20's twin WS-15 engines and larger frame give it raw kinematic advantages, faster supercruise at Mach 1.6+, higher altitude deployment up to 60,000 feet, and superior thrust for sustained turns. If the two jets are locked in a scissors maneuver, the J-20 could out-accelerate, forcing the F-35 into energy-draining dodges. Armed with PL-10 heat seekers and helmet-cued sights, a skilled Chinese pilot might notch a 60-40 win rate in visual range scraps per RAND-inspired wargames. In DCS simulations, F-35 pilots leverage this for preemptive AIM-9X shots, flipping odds to 70-30, with electronic warfare jamming the J-20's Type 1475 radar. Pilot training tips the scale, and U.S. experience often prevails. In a simulated Taiwan Strait patrol, the J-20's 1,100 nanometer radius allows longer orbits, but inferior fusion means fragmented data that's vulnerable to F-35 ambushes from afar via AIM-120D volleys. The chances of success for the F-35 is 80% compared to the J-20's 65%. Globally, the J-20 challenges U.S. aerial power by saturating A2/AD bubbles, using PL-15/21 missiles to snipe F-35s escorting bombers from standoff ranges. In Europe or the Middle East, exported J-20s rumored to already be in Pakistan could disrupt F-35's patrols, forcing resource splits, while allies like Japan or Australia could be overwhelmed by 300-plus airframes in numerical swarms. For U.S. enemies, say, a China-backed Iran, it's devastating, enabling carrier-killing raids that erode American projection. Yet integrated U.S. networks blunt this. The J-20 thrives in isolation, not against fused coalitions. The J-20 is a serious but containable threat, urging faster NGAD deployment. In 2025, the F-22 wins 1 versus 1s with superior stealth and agility. But by 2030, J-20 numbers and networks might dominate scenarios. The true winner fuses more nodes effectively. Do you think the J-20 could pull off a surprise on the F-35 someday? Let's know what you think in the comments section below. Stay tuned.